Blessed is he who reads aloud the words of the prophecy, and blessed are those who hear and who keep what is written therein, for the time is near. Revelation 1:3. So let's dive in and trust the Lord that he will give you wisdom and understanding as we go verse by verse through the book of Revelation. Always remember Acts 17:11, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily whether these things were so.
Philadelphia, the preserving church. Revelation 3 verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, He who is holy, who is true, who has the key of David, who opens and no one will shut, and who shuts and no one opens, says this. Background history. The youngest of the cities, now known as Alashihir, was built in the area acquired by Pergamos in 189 BC. King Eumenes II of Pergamos had a younger brother, Attalus II, who was his successor and won the cognomen Philadelphus, one who loves his brother, after which the city was named, for his loyalty and affection for Eumenes. Philadelphian coins showed the two brothers as completely alike in height, features, and dress. The area was well favored for wine production. Dionysus, the god of wine, was the principal deity, and the city was well situated on the imperial post road from Rome to Troas to Pergamos, Sardis, and to the interior of Phrygia. It was a virtual gateway to the high central plateau of Asia Minor, and thus became a missionary center for spreading the Greek language and manners into the eastern parts of Lydia and Phrygia. The missionary character of the city seems to be stressed in the letter to the Church of Philadelphia. Jesus is introduced as the sovereign God. He is holy and true. These do not describe tendencies within Jesus, but his very being, and are clear characteristics of Yahweh. The idea behind true, alethinos, is real or genuine, as opposed to unreal, fake, or counterfeit. Jesus is true in all of his being. He is the real God and the real man. He is the keeper of the keys and doors. This is a figure from Isaiah chapter 22, verses 20 to 23, expressing power and authority, especially to admit and exclude. Revelation 3, verse 8. I know your deeds. Behold, I have put before you an open door which no one can shut, because you have a little power, and have kept my word, and have not denied my name. The facts. Jesus knows their great faithfulness. They have an open door set before them, a door that either represents their opportunity to enter God's kingdom, in contrast with their exclusion from the synagogue in verse 9, or it represents missionary opportunity. The emphasis is on unhindered openness. There is nothing that can keep them from their access to this door. They have a little strength, which does not imply weakness, but real strength. They were weak enough to be strong in the Lord. For many of us, we are too strong, too big, too sure of our own strength to see God do a great work through His strength. Paul is a great example. God's strength was made evident in his weakness. 2 Corinthians 12, verses 7 through 10. The Christians in Philadelphia have also been faithful to Jesus and His Word. The idea behind being faithful to His name is not only expressing allegiance to Him, but in also being consistent with His character. Some churches who claim great faithfulness to the Word of Jesus deny His character. They represent the manner and style of Jesus as something very different from what the Gospels show. These features, opportunity, reliance on God, and faithfulness to Jesus, almost seem commonplace, unspectacular, or even boring. But Jesus was completely pleased with this church. The Church of Philadelphia is commended for keeping the word of the Lord and not denying His name. Success in Christian work is not to be measured by any other standard of achievement. It is not rise in ecclesiastical position. It is not the number of new buildings which have been built through a man's ministry. It is not the crowds that flock to listen to any human voice. All of these things are frequently used as yardsticks of success, but they are earthly and not heavenly measures. Revelation 3, verse 9. Behold, I will cause those of the synagogue of Satan, who say that you are Jews and are not, but lie. I will make them come and bow down at your feet, and make them know that I have loved you. Revelation 3, verse 10. Because you have kept the word of my perseverance, I also will keep you from the hour of testing, that hour which is about to come upon the whole world, to test those who dwell on the earth. A verdict upon the Christians at Philadelphia. They are to be vindicated and preserved. Apparently, the Christians in Philadelphia were being persecuted by the Jews, but these persecuting Jews were Jews in name only, having no spiritual connection to Abraham or to the people of faith. I will make them come and worship before your feet. God promised Israel that Gentiles would honor them and acknowledge their God. Now Jews will play the role of the heathen and acknowledge that the church is the Israel of God. 1 Corinthians 14, verses 24 and 25, speaks of unbelievers falling down in the midst of Christians to worship God. This establishes that it isn't Christians who are being worshipped, but God is being worshipped in the presence of Christians. The best way to destroy the enemies of the gospel is to pray God would change them into friends. The main thought here is a vindication before self-righteous spiritual persecutors. God is promising that the Christians in Philadelphia will be vindicated before their persecutors. Jesus also gives them a promise of protection from the hour of trial on the whole world. Most see this hour of trial as a reference to the messianic woes, the great tribulation, which precedes Jesus' earthly kingdom. The test is directed against those who dwell on the earth. This refers not only to believers, but to unbelievers who are objects of God's wrath throughout Revelation. Does this promise to keep you from the hour of trial imply an escape before the great tribulation? Or does it promise protection in it? Each side believes this verse easily supports their position. Those who believe the church will be here on earth during this time of great tribulation focus on persevere and say the context demands the view of a protection that enables the faithful to persevere in the period. Those who believe that Jesus will come for his church before this time of great tribulation note that protection is promised from the very hour of trial, not just the trial itself, and point to the worldwide, inescapable cataclysm predicted in the Great Tribulation. As well, persevere is in the past tense, something that the Christians had already done before the hour of trial, which has not yet come upon the world. The promise is a reward for past perseverance, not the equipping to persevere in the future. In addition, the ones being tested by this hour of trial are not primarily believers, but those who dwell on the earth, those whose home is the earth, who are not citizens of heaven. A point to ponder? Why would Christ invite his bride, the church, to the wedding feast and the marriage supper of the Lamb, but beat her to death first during the Great Tribulation? That makes no sense to me either. Revelation 3, verse 11. I am coming quickly. Hold fast to what you have, so that no one will take your crown. What Jesus wants them to do is hold fast. The church must not depart from its solid foundation of faithfulness to Jesus and his word, and evangelism. They must continue in the things mentioned in verse 8, even if they seem unspectacular by some modern church standards. That no one may take your crown. If they fail to hold fast, the crown might be given to another. The idea is not that it might be stolen by another. This is not a crown of royalty due to one because of birth, but a crown of victory. Jesus is encouraging his saints to finish their course with victory, to play the second half just as strongly as they have played the first half. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Nowhere are we told to prepare for the great tribulation. Revelation 3 verse 12. He who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will not go out from it any more. And I will write on him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and my new name. The promise of reward to overcomers. Overcomers are told that they will be a pillar in the temple of my God. Pillars were pictures of strength, stability, and dignified beauty. In Philadelphia's frequent earthquakes, when a building collapsed, often all that remained were the huge pillars. Jesus offers us this same strength. He shall go out no more. The overcomer will have a place of permanence and stability with God, in contrast to their uncertain place in this world. The overcomer also receives on his person many names of God, the New Jerusalem, and the new name of Jesus. These names are marks of identification, that we belong to Jesus, and intimacy. We are privileged to know him in ways others are not. This also can fit well with the image of a pillar. In the ancient world, a faithful city servant or distinguished priest was sometimes honored by having a special pillar added to one of the temples and having it inscribed with his name. Revelation 3, verse 13. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. We all want to hear the praise and encouragement Jesus gives to the church of Philadelphia. But if we are to be like this church, we must stay on the foundation of Jesus Christ. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. Both Smyrna and Philadelphia have no criticism. Both of these cities are the ones remaining still today. Let's remember that each of the churches had a different perception of themselves than that the Lord himself had. How sobering to us in our own conceits.